A tough loss against Fulham at the weekend, a disappointing end to the January transfer window, a Carabao Cup semi-final this Wednesday, and a first look at the Newcastle United Leazes Park Stadium. Yes guys, how's it going? Welcome back to a new video. As you can tell, plenty to talk about today once again. Well, grab a cup of tea, settle down, let's have a chat. I was going to say plenty to talk about. There was nothing to talk about in the January transfer window. Very, very disappointing. Off the back of a poor game against Fulham, no transfers in. I wonder whose PR idea it was to literally the day after the January transfer window. Shall we release something about the new stadium? You know, maybe that'll grab the attention of the fans, and it has, because we're here talking about it. So yes, there wasn't much to talk about in the January window, but there is plenty going on in the world of Newcastle United, and things are just moving so quickly, because after, as I say, a poor game against Fulham, a disappointing end at the window, and you know, I don't want to talk about too much because I already feel like it's been done. We've been talking for weeks about Almiron leaving. We've talked for weeks about that, for Dubravka leaving, PSR, Eddie Howe, Paul Mitchell seemingly not getting along. Like, it's not a particularly fun conversation, and it's worrying. We can turn around and quickly get into a semi. We can quickly, you know, within a day, within 24 hours, we can win a semi-final, go to a cup final, continue to push for Europe, new stadium round the corner, and all of that. You know, that's where we want to be. That's the conversations we want to be having. That's where Newcastle United want to be. Going into Europe, getting Champions League. Isak and Bruno are staying. We've got money to spend in the summer. Like, that's where... But you cannot rule out the fact that we looked poor. This isn't a new story. This is not a new story. Newcastle do not have a squad, really, that has been capable in the last few years to compete constantly for European spots. We had the Champions League, but then we had a tough Premier League season because we didn't have the squad. We haven't bought any new first-team players in 3 consecutive transfer windows, and yet we're kind of walking into this one going, oh, well, it'll be fine this time. I hope it is. I hope it is fine, and I hope that, you know, I think the likes of Almiron leaving, Kelly leaving for 20 million, like, you can't turn those deals down. Not letting go of the likes of Trippier and Wilson have been criticised at the time. The likes, really, not letting go of Almiron a year ago was criticised. Maybe not letting the likes of a Longstaff or somebody else leave when they were, you know, fully firing has been criticised. So to not take our own advice and let go of an Almiron and a Kelly this time round had to be done. But to not replace, to not even visit the loan market, to do, you know, nothing was surprising. And I feel like Eddie Howe was possibly within his understandably a little bit prickly in his press conference this morning, saying, you know, oh, it's PSR, that's why we had to do it. I still honestly think that PSR is a massive part of it, and you could argue that Paul Mitchell came in, criticised the previous regime for overspending, not doing enough, and now he, as much as he's looking like the bad guy right now, maybe he is actually just trying to fix it. And to do that, it's trying to, like, kind of take back from, you know, there was someone put a photo on, I've seen this morning, of, like, the first window with Bruno Byrne targeting everyone. Chris Wood, you know, best striker in the world from what I can tell. Can we buy him back? Was there a buyback clause? So, yeah. That's the thing. It's hard really to criticise right now. You can have an opinion. You can say that what I think we've done isn't enough. But we'll first of all, we'll find out tomorrow night going into the Arsenal. If we get it over the line and go to a Carabao Cup final, that's two finals in 2 years with not a squad that, you know, should be more for me. And then we push on and try and do more. If we get to the end of this season, we don't win a cup, we don't get Europe, and Isak and Bruno turn around and go, you know what, I want to leave now. We'll look back at this January and go, we should have pushed the boat, but we just don't know yet. But one thing that we do know is that well, first of all, I'll see you tomorrow night. If you're not subscribed already, be sure to do so. I will be at the Arsenal game tomorrow at St James's Park, hoping to bring that kind of PSG-esque atmosphere back to Newcastle, get that job done, get a bit of momentum. We'll fly through the season. We've got the players to do it. That's the thing. Fair enough, we're a bit light on the ground, but we've got Isak, we've got Gordon, we've got Tonali, we've got Bruno, we've hopefully got Joe Linton. Obviously, he's got some injury troubles. I'm expecting Botman to come back in tomorrow night as well. Dubravka, has been in good form, so we'll give him a props as well. Hall, we have a fantastic side that is capable of doing it. We have to just manage it well, keep people fit, and, push on. But it's undoubtedly, this whole PSR thing is a pain. And how did Newcastle fix it? How did Newcastle fix the PSR issue? Well, one of the things that's been spoken about for years is to go and build a new stadium. The Telegraph today, as I say, wonder who at the club leaked this one or, invited Luke Edwards in. Look, Luke, we've had a poor January. Can you get this article released first thing the day after the window? It would not surprise me, but yeah, we'll take it, we'll enjoy it, we'll look at it, and it's Newcastle's kind of, I think it's the board are pushing or recommending the move of Newcastle to be a £1.2 billion, 70k stadium in, well, not all of, but encroaching into Leazes Park. Now, straight away, this is very, I think for most Newcastle fans, depending on where you are, and straight away, let me know in the comments. Do you want a new stadium? Do you not want a new stadium? We're going to talk in a second about the capacity as well. I want to mention that one. But location-wise, because for me, I'm one of the lucky few who has a season ticket. So in terms of the actual stadium size, etc., I'm lucky to have a seat. But I'm not daft enough to realise that we need to open it up for more fans. More Newcastle fans should have the opportunity to go. And to do that, you're looking at basically getting a bigger stadium. The idea of expanding around St James's Park, I think it's just been done to dead now. It's just not happening. There's not enough space or the ability to just put an extra stand on St James's Park. So then you go down the route of the new stadium. Which then for me is still on board with, until you say, but we're going to have to go and move it into Northumberland because there's just nowhere to put it. I think this for most fans will be I was going to say happy medium or just the answer, the perfect answer for many to have the new stadium basically in the same location as St James's Park, and that is what is being shown in this Telegraph exclusive today. Arguably, when you look at the lines, is it just enough away from the stadium that we could actually continue playing at St James's Park throughout that time as well? Fair enough, you'd probably have to play for a few seasons with only 2 stands, but that was another big thing, is that if we were to build at St James's, where we're going to play. We're not going to go to Sunderland, believe me. And I'll take Gateshead for a few years. Why not? Build Gateshead Stadium, do theirs up first, go over there. No, realistically, there is nowhere really nearby to go. But the way that obviously these are very early plans, but to kind of have it just far away enough that we are using majority of the Newcastle United land already. It's basically covering a large portion of the car park. And, we're kind of jumping a little bit, but the idea that we can still kind of play at St James's while half of it's being built and then kind of move it over, or have 2 seasons with half a stadium this side at current St James's and then have half a season in the new one, that probably wouldn't work. So maybe that one is still up for debate, but the way the kind of plans are looking is maybe it's possible to at least continue at St James's for some time with maybe, as they say, stands on 2 sides, less capacity until the new one's ready. So let me know your thoughts on the location being, well, essentially where we already are. The flip side is, and we've known this for a while, is that Newcastle can say, let's build a £1 billion stadium in Leazes Park. I mean, I've been saying it for about 3 years. Loads of people have been saying it, But that doesn't mean that the council have agreed that conservation people, all this stuff. A lot of people will have a say on this. And now, look, money talks. And we have owners who have a lot of it. And arguably, Leazes Park, I think, could do with a revamp, actually. It wouldn't surprise me if the council said, well, you know what, you can... And that's the thing, what's being shown... Like, I've seen some stuff online that looks fantastic, like in the middle of Leazes Park, with like the spider web roots around the park. Imagine the lights shining around Leazes Park with the pond. Like, it would be amazing, but I think that is probably asking too much. Instead, what we've got is kind of like the side section of it. And it wouldn't surprise me if Newcastle said, look, we're going to take that small section, but for what was remaining of St James's Park, we'll open that up to the rest of Leazes Park. So we are giving back land that was taken. We haven't just put it bulldozed straight through the middle of it. Really, well, I'll be honest, for a long time, the section that's actually being shown here has been cut off by a fence for a while now, because there's like an abandoned building there. So if we're asking to take over a part of the park, the bit with the abandoned building in it is probably the bit that they'll be happy to give us. So at the minute, we're talking location, more seats for the fans, location's great for the fans, money into the council local area, and potentially, the restoration of the whole of Leazes Park. So, it sounded pretty good to me. 70k seats. Now, this is the thing, the idea that St James's Park would be extended was always under the idea that if we increased the East Stand, we could maybe get it to like 60,000 seats. If you were going to do a brand new stadium, you're talking, how many were we talking? I think 100 is probably too much. Well, can there ever be too much? Is all possibly like really out there? I was thinking like 80. Bearing in mind, we had a capacity, we had a full crowd, 52 and a bit thousand, for Wimbledon not too long ago. Bromley. We're packing out a stadium in a cup game. Well, tickets were 30 quid. They weren't a fiver, they weren't a tenner. They were 30 quid. We sold out 52,000 against like League One sides. So you're saying that we can only achieve an extra 18k more for Premier League games against Chelsea, Arsenal, Man City? Semi-finals against Arsenal. So, I'm a little bit unsure as to whether we could actually push that further. But I suppose when we're getting into it and we're getting about size and ability of room, maybe 70k is what fits the area that we're talking about right here. Maybe when you're getting into the 80s and 90s, then you are talking about taking over the whole Leazes Park, and maybe that's something that we're trying to avoid slightly as well. So, very interesting. In terms of timescale, the article talks about 2030, 2031. So, yeah, I mean, how long did you expect to take it to build a stadium? Probably 3-4 years. And it's not starting tomorrow. It will, I guess, at the very, very earliest, be at the end of this season. But then you've also got to think about the fact that we're in for, God, what the hell are we in for? The tournament that we're in, the Euros. Is it the Euros? It must be. And the stadium needs to either be ready or not started before then. And I'm sure that's right in the middle of that timescale. So, yeah, timescales are a little bit iffy. But I think that's the thing, where it is and how it's looking, is that really they can spend 2 years getting on with it while St James's Park sits exactly where it is. They might have a season or two while they basically cut half of our stadium off, keep the pitch where it is, but lose, kind of that corner, lose the car park, all that stuff will be going, sinking in. So, yeah, that's the thing with Newcastle, I guess, to try and conclude roundup, because I did start with very present and now I'm starting very future, is to... It's been a bit. It feels like it's been a bit of a rocky road, and it's been a bit after what was like a lot of promises and a lot of talk, buying players, looking good. And look, Eddie Howe was having a wobble 2 or 3 months ago, turned it round, won 8 games in a row, and everybody was flying. And I think that at that point, it was almost the perfect opportunity to go and spend, add to what we've done, finish the season strong. And it kind of feels like the carpet's been pulled beneath That's how I feel a little bit. The carpet's been pulled beneath our feet. We were shown this kind of tough start. Anyhow, against all odds, really, with a very good side, but a low number of players, injury issues. He has just in time, we've picked up just in time for the January window, and we've gone, oh, actually, we're not going to spend any money. Then we'll have a tough game against the Bournemouth, beat Southampton, but they're not great. Lose against Fulham. Tomorrow's a big game. I think the atmosphere will be fantastic, and if I think it's a win, it will just push the momentum back into where we go this season. But I suppose the current worry for me is that if we don't achieve Champions League, if we don't achieve some sort of European football, the thought of, some of our players like Isaac, like Bruno, are going to go, what the hell's going on? It's fair enough that this new stadium will be for the future, and that's the thing. Amanda promised us the 5-year plan. Maybe that, I've mentioned this before, maybe that was partly why she left, because as much as we aren't getting much communication right now, I think that's another thing that's annoying fans. There isn't enough communication. Paul Mitchell said nothing. Eddie Howe's getting, pushed out every week to tell us that there's no money. Is there not? Can someone actually confirm what the hell's going on? That's why I miss Amanda. That's why I loved Amanda. Maybe that was why the PIF didn't love Amanda, because it was too soon. And if you're talking about 5-year plans, maybe it is that bit longer. But that's the thing. Didn't buy anybody in January. I still woke up, 3rd, 4th of February, and I was still a Newcastle fan, and we're still gonna crack on. And I've mentioned this before, that idea, if you zoom really far into the graph, it goes like this. We had a tough start to the season, but we picked up again. Then we had a couple of bad games in January, didn't buy any players. But if you zoom out to the 5-year plan, it's still been that. It's still Tonali, it's still Isaac, it's still Bruno, it was still Champions League, it's still another cup final chance. It is, up there, new stadium, increased revenue, and it's just going to keep going. So, yeah, it's been a frustrating couple of months. Newcastle have released this to try and, no doubt, get back on side with a few people as to what's going on next. But you can let me know your thoughts on all of that down in the comments below. Thank you for watching, as always, and I'll catch you later.